Welcome into SportsSource.tv. I just told a dirty joke. Wasn't that funny? Somebody told it to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good. We appreciate you joining us for our overtime segment. We do this every week where we take a topic that we think we could have a little fun with, and we throw it in here in this extra segment on the website. We're joined by Houston Fancher. We're joined by Bob Hodge, Mark Pankratz, and Chuck Cavaleras. And this segment, as always, our overtime segment, brought to you by Jinx Logos. And I tell you about the work they can do for your company or just your brand. Here's what they do for me. Just an example. We've got copper all over our set. So I said, can you find me some copper thread? And they had to hunt and look and find it. And there you go. It's done in copper thread. A visor right there. We've got silver. We got copper. They can do T-shirts. They can do jackets for you. Anything your company needs in terms of giveaway items, from mugs to golf balls, whatever, they can do it. Jinx Logos. Give them a call. There's their phone number, 755-7767, if I can read correctly, and apparently I can. All right. Very quickly, guys. Fun, I think. We'll see. Cuonzo Martin got the Vols to the Sweet 16 and within a bucket of the Elite 8 last year. Dave Hart let him know he'd better win this year by coming back and offering him a below standards buyout, basically $1 million buyout, which kind of told Cuonzo the writing was on the wall. My question, though, if Dave Hart could have seen into the future and known that his next hire would bring an NCAA cloud over him, and unfortunately that means it's over the program, do you think he would have handled the Martin thing differently?
I would say, I'll jump on this one right away. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. Because Donnie Tyndall wasn't your number one target, and you had pretty much made the decision about Cuonzo Martin before you even go to the SEC tournament. And you were waiting for him to fail, and he kept winning. So I say absolutely not. You made that decision, and then you're just going to have to live with that one.
I think you would. I think you would have made a completely different decision, because even if you end up having to get rid of Cuonzo Martin after another year, say after this season, your program is still now moving forward with a different coach. Whereas if you have to get rid of Coach Tyndall because of NCAA things, your program is going to be set back another handful of years, because that's 2 makeshift recruiting classes in a row, and it's just going to be a bigger time period that this program is going to have to overcome.
All right.
I'm going with Chuck. I think no. I think that he's going to go ahead and he's going to do exactly what he did, because I think he thought Cuonzo Martin's time was done. He wasn't popular with the fans, so I think he wanted Cuonzo Martin to be gone.
All right. Houston, where you at?
Let me be the ultimate fence sitter here. I think you could have seen both. I think you could have certainly seen both. I think Dave had his mind made up of his evaluation of Cuonzo and the things he had done. I think those things were already set in his mind. So he didn't really go and say, we fully support you, but we don't want to get rid of you at the same time. I think you're there with him, but at the same time, I don't think necessarily he would have done it if he knew he was going to be dealing with NCAA violations.
Well, and Dave's big on his image as well. And I think by the hiring of Donnie, and because some of this stuff has happened, and the sword's falling a little bit on Dave Hart because of the vetting process, so to speak, I think he would have just let Cuonzo Martin, whatever worked out with that record and this team coming back, and then making the decision and getting a new coach.
Yeah, going ahead and giving him a bigger buyout, and then just saying at least we'll have to pay it. Rather, we'll just pay one buyout rather than have to start from scratch all over again. Because I mean, as you say, not only are you losing would it be another recruiting class that's makeshift, but where are you going to go for your next head coach if Tyndall can't survive? I mean, this last time, the coach at Louisiana Tech turned you down. Unfortunately, Derek Dooley didn't do that in football. He'd have been better off. But when Michael White turns you down, then you have to go and get a guy who, again, I don't think they properly vetted him with the Morehead State thing. You have to get a guy who has an NCAA track record to begin with. I just don't know where you turn if Donnie Tyndall doesn't make it. So I think he probably would have handled it differently, personally.
There's a pretty good coach sitting right next to you. You could have gone with Houston Fancher.
I'm undefeated there right now.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this about the fan support. And one of the reasons that the move on Cuonzo Martin was made is because he was not the most outgoing guy in the world. It's been twisted by those people who ran him off that he hated Tennessee, never wanted to be here, he was a malcontent. That's lies. That's just not true. Mark, you were here at the time. He never hated Tennessee, did he?
No. He enjoyed his time here. He liked this community.
But here's the thing. There was a sizable chunk, 30,000 supposedly, let's say 10,000, 3 of them, they each signed the name 3 times. There was a chunk of people who wanted Bruce Pearl back, didn't want Cuonzo. Get rid of him. Okay. Here's the thing. You've had good crowd support this year at Thompson Bowling, considering. You have. but it's not as good as it was last year. So if your move was made for fan support, for donors to give money, did it work or not, in your opinion? It's early. If Donnie Tyndall gets cleared in all this and he turns out to be the coach that I think he could be, then all of a sudden it's all a different tune. But as it looks right now, did you make the right move in terms of fans? I mean, it was kind of a fan support driven move, and yet your attendance is down a little bit.
I don't think you made the right move based on how last season ended. I mean, and this might have been a down year, but when a coach does that well, taking a team to the NCAA tournament and winning some games, I think you do more to keep him.
Yeah, I think you botched it last year when you just didn't say, he's our coach, we're giving you a normal raise, a normal contract for a coach who goes to within one shot of the Elite Eight. So I think it was botched from the get-go.
I have some agreement with that, and I think they should have handled him differently down the stretch. And throughout the time he was here, remember what he inherited. He had to clean up a mess.
Yep.
He had to clean up a mess when he got here with the way he ended with violation with Coach Pearl and everything. So he didn't necessarily get off from the start line fairly. And he built this thing the right way. He was clean with it, and he got him to the Sweet 16 in his third season. That's pretty impressive, and they should have handled that a little bit differently. Now, Donnie's situation, the groundswell is they want him. People want him here, but you're afraid to commit to him. And that's the thing we got to find a way to get over right now. We want him, but we don't want to reach out and grab his hand yet.
Sounds like a football program.
It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because I think now they're missing a good ride, and this team, with where they are right now, certainly not they're higher than where they expect to be expected. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's, as we said earlier, I don't know that an NCAA tournament run's possible, but stranger things have happened. If they put a string together at the end, they could at least get back on the bubble and work their way into an NIT, which for this year, for this roster thrown together, all of it. I mean, so much of it rides on the Tyndall situation. I mean, we're all just sitting here waiting for what the NCAA is going to allege, and then you get back into how Tennessee's going to handle it and how long they can wait to handle it. How long do you have to wait for the appeals process and that kind of stuff. Interesting. I was thinking about that this week. If Dave Hart knew then what he knows now, would he have handled that differently? Interesting. And obviously the panel is split. Guys, I appreciate it, and we're going to split. We'll see you next week on the Sports Source, WATE 6 at 11 a.m. Thank you all for watching.